Hi, I'm Todd Henderson. Today I want to show you how to install the Gator FX cover on the 2015 Ford F-150. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to want to do is install the rails. Now this is the passenger side rail. It's going to install exactly the same as the driver's side, so just do the exact same thing on the opposite side. What we're going to do, passenger side rail has aluminum tabs up towards the cab of the truck, points into the bed. And then this flange right here is going to lip over top of the bed cap. You've got a little rubber gasket that needs to set on top of the bed cap and seat properly there. So what we're going to do is kind of set and hang that on top of the bed cap, slide it all the way up to the bulkhead. We want to make sure that the end of the rail contacts the bulkhead. Next, we're going to take a clamp. Now, if you've got someone to hold this in place for you, that's great. If you don't, I'll show you how to do this without any help. We're going to take a clamp. Now, this is an F-150. I'm going to install the first clamp, not in the center, but just off of the center. On the newer F-150s, you don't really have a good spot to clamp onto in the center. So I'm going to set the clamp in place. I'm going to make sure the grooves on the clamp marry properly into the grooves on the rail. Then while I'm holding it in place, I'm going to tighten down this nut finger tight. We want to make sure the carriage bolt that's going through the clamp is seated properly into the back side of the clamp so it's not spinning. Once that's in place and we get it finger tight, we're going to take a 9/16 wrench and we're just going to start to let it bite down in place. Now, to get this to seat properly against the top of the bed cap, we're going to pop down directly onto the top of the rail, directly above the clamp, and that seats that rail up at the top. Now we can go ahead and finish tightening with a 9/16. Next clamp is going to go as far forward as we can get it up underneath the bed flange. So open up that clamp, slide up in place. Again, make sure that the grooves on the clamp are married into the grooves on the rail. And then we're going to tighten this down finger tight. Now we're going to tighten it down just a little bit with the wrench. Pop down on it to seat the seal at the top. And using the 9/16, continue to tighten down that clamp. Now we're going to move to the rear clamp. Just like the front two, we're going to set that in place and make sure it's properly seated to the rail. Slide it back as far as it can go. Hand tighten it and get it kind of snug. And then seat the rail and finish tightening the clamp. Now, this is an F-150, so directly behind the liner right here, there's a plastic kick out that we've popped out so we can run a drain tube out of the bed. I've made a hole in the liner. Again, since this is the F-150, we've got a tie-down cleat that's right here. We got lots of other tie-downs, so typically what I like to do is I like to run the drain tube through the tie-down, just like so. Just make sure everything's nice and clean. I'm going to attach the drain tube to the drain cup on the bottom of the rail. And then run the other end of the drain tube right out the bed of the truck through the hole. Last thing with the rail is installing the prop rod. That just snaps right into the ball stud. You rock it up and you let it rest inside the clip on the rail. Now what we're going to do is we're going to install the bulkhead seal right along the top of the bulkhead. So what we're going to do is use some isopropyl alcohol. We're going to wipe down the top of that bulkhead with alcohol. We're going to peel away the tape and we're going to run that seal all the way up to the bulkhead or to the bed cap and set it to the very back end of the bulkhead, closest to the opening on the bed of the truck. Now, once we get to the other side, we're going to take our scissors and we're going to hold it all the way up to the edge of the bed cap. And we're going to slice the end of the seal off to where we can make the end of the seal all the way up to the bed cap. We're going to make sure to close any kind of gap there. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take our cover, we're going to locate where our front panel is. That's a very small panel. This goes towards the bulkhead. So we're going to lift the cover up and we're going to set it up on top of the rails. You'll hear the latches engage when it locks into the rails. We're going to flip this portion of the panel back, and then we need to make sure all of our packaging material is removed. This is going to rock forward. This portion right here, the piece of rubber sticking out, needs to be over top of the bulkhead. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide the whole cover forward until it's right up on top of the bulkhead seal. Then we're going to press down a little bit, just apply some pressure down to keep this nice and flat. We're going to move it forward the rest of the way until it contacts the bulkhead. Now we're going to get our elevator bolt assembly. You'll have two of these that are packaged together. We're going to take the star knob off. We're going to slide off all the hardware. Now we're going to take one rubber washer, slide it over top of the elevator bolt. We're going to slide the elevator bolt down through the center of that panel, just like so. All right, next we're going to go ahead and pull the cable that retracts the latches so we can rotate that cover up. We're going to rest it very, very gently up against the cab. Next, we're going to go underneath and locate our elevator bolt that's passing down through the tab on the side of the rail. We're going to take the rest of our elevator bolt assembly. We have a rubber washer, a flat washer, and a lock washer, and it's going to go in that order up around that elevator bolt, and then we're going to take our star knob and start threading the star knob into place. All right, we're going to rotate the star knob just to where it starts to contact. We do not want to even snug it up at this point because we still want to be able to adjust the cover. We're going to do that on both sides. Now that we've got it loosely attached to the rails, we're going to go ahead and pull it away from the cab. There again, we're going to be really careful so we don't damage the cab with the cover. Start locking it down into the rail. Each time we lock it down into the rail, we want to make sure it's nice and centered in between the rails. Each panel needs to be centered. All right, and we're going to fold the last panel down. Make sure we latch it into place on both sides. And there again, make sure it's centered side to side underneath the rails or between the rails. Once that is centered side to side, we can go ahead and raise the panel, close the tailgate, make sure the cover closes properly against the tailgate. Now we're going to gently fold the cover up against the bulkhead. We're going to be careful as we're folding this cover not to shift it. Now we can go underneath and tighten down our star knobs. We don't need to over tighten them, we just need to make sure they're nice and snug. Next we need to install our red backed rubber bumpers. So what we're going to do is note where it contacts the cab. Then the surface of the cover we're going to wipe down with alcohol. Then we're going to see exactly where it would strike. We're going to adhere the rubber bumper directly to the panel. Now we're going to go ahead and test the operation of the cover. We're going to go ahead and close it down all the way to the tailgate. Make sure everything latches into place. Now, an important reminder when operating the cover, you always want the last panel to close after the tailgate is closed. So if you just want to open the tailgate, before you close that tailgate, just raise the panel, close the tailgate, let the panel close on top of the tailgate. That keeps the tailgate from jamming that back seal. Your side seals on a brand new cover, sometimes they'll be creased up a little bit. You just want to flatten them out and let the sunlight, let those relax. Those do need some relaxation time if you want that to happen a lot quicker, especially like in the winter time. A heat gun or a hair dryer can help that to happen a lot quicker. That concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts. We're here to help you pick the right parts for you.